This is gonna be fun. I can already tell.
I feel like I'm just gonna.
We're on the
AJ
Newlywed
whole
Show.
time.
What did you say?
I said I feel like I'm just gonna shit on AJ the whole time. I'm just kidding.
It's hard not to.
It really is.
You should have heard him on the last episode. I was getting a little self-conscious, a little jealous. It was like just hearing AJ talk about how great his life is, how good everything is.
Just a
It's
fair warning.
perfect.
I'm actually having I'm in a
day.
bad mood at the moment.
Yeah, he's in a very bad. Are we recording?
Yeah.
I was
we're
actually gonna
going.
warn you because I thought he was gonna rip my head off when he walked through the door.
What happened today, AJ? Because
He's triggered.
we're
He's
fresh.
triggered.
Uh-oh. Did somebody tell you to wear a
This is so
mask or
uncomfortable.
something?
No, I had a great day. I
Mhm.
like getting close to the mic. I had a great day. It's just I had an exhausting day and I'm dehydrated and I have a headache.
All the listeners appreciate you coming on.
And I've walked in the house for, we'll call it 10 seconds. And then walked upstairs and went to go put money in the safe. Put the dog outside now.
Bye, Doug.
Thank freaking God. Walked upstairs, put my money in the safe, which, mind you, it's a 6-digit code. It takes me
It doesn't belong in a safe.
10 seconds to put in the safe. And she was complaining that I was taking too long.
For what?
Oh, just to get up and start this.
No. Just so you know, AJ has he actually has a track record of when something needs to get done. He just randomly thinks of like 10 things that he needs to do before he does the actual important task.
I think that's all guys, though. I mean, this almost is going back to our conversation we had with Jay, in that like, there's just some things that Jen will tell me to do, and I'm just like, no. Like, I just get so agitated. And what you're describing just sounds like the dichotomy of men and women.
Well, one thing I'll admit to that I'm really bad about, and I don't know why this is. I mean, I'm constantly doing things, but when she's like, all right, we're leaving, literally like we'll be walking out the door and I'll find 3 things I have to do that take 15 minutes.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
I can't think of an example. What's an example? Random stuff. Real random stuff.
I can't. It's every single time though. No matter what it is that we're doing or where we're going, that's always how it is.
There is never a time ever where I start getting ready before Jen that I am not the last one out the door every single time without fail. For some reason, it just I agree. It with AJ. I always something always comes up. I'm always.
And it's not like I don't take a while to get ready. I don't get ready
it doesn't
at all.
take
I
long.
just find it I find something to do on the way out the door.
Dude, my problem is scrolling on my damn phone. I get so effing addicted to that thing and just swiping, wasting time. I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, oh shit, I've just been doing this for 10 minutes.
What is your do you know what your daily like time spent on your phone is?
Like between 4 and 5 hours.
Mine is too. Isn't that really sad?
Well, so it is.
Mine's 9 hours.
I give myself an excuse.
God.
Is it really? No, it isn't.
I think so.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but so okay.
World's freaking busiest man alive right here.
So if you counted my work phone and my personal phone, that I think that's when you'd see the problem. That would probably be like 4 or 5 hours on each. So, but the thing is, like, when you're using, like, I give myself this handicap all the time. I'm like, Sawyer has my phone. He's watching something on it. I'm like, taking videos, pictures, like, all that counts as screen time.
Yeah.
So,
For
yeah,
me,
AJ,
I really have no excuse. It's just social media.
AJ, that actually is a great option to mellow out right now. Perfect timing.
100%.
Perfect timing for anybody out there looking to take the edge off. You come home in a bad mood. It takes you way too long to get in your safe, put your money away. Check out Alias Sport CBD. It is a natural.
He's got it ready to go in his hand.
Oh yeah. Hey, Allie, do you not watch these? I don't blame you if you don't.
Bryce is the like I've never seen somebody better at plugging our.
That was smooth.
But this, we're eating up ad time here, people. Alias Sport CBD,
Mm.
natural pain management, anti-anxiety, anti-inflammation. It comes from Mother Earth. We're not taking crap and synthesizing it in a lab. No, we're extracting natural hemp, CBD, all the good stuff you know about CBD. We're taking it right out of the plant. We're putting it in this beautiful stuff, which is their chill oil, AJ's pain bomb. It is excellent stuff. AJ just took the edge off with his. I dabbled in mine before this podcast. Check them out, aliassport.com. 30% off with code AJCat30. You will not regret it, people. You will not regret it.
AJ Cat 30% off.
And long day at the track, I'm sure your back is happy as a clam in that chair.
Matter of fact, Bryce, it is. This Mavix M9 chair has a DVL system, dynamic variable lumbar system that just adjusts just the way I need it to. Matter of fact,
Hey, talk to
Allie-
the people. Talk to the people. Talk to the people.
oh, I'm sorry.
There you go.
I'm sorry, people. This chair is so comfortable, and Allie just messed up my whole setup. So I had to readjust my chair, but that's fine because it has the adjustment. Not to mention, I had the heated seat on in my truck by accident. So when I got home, I had a hot butt. Guess what? It has Cool Gel M foam that keeps my butt nice and cold.
It has what kind of foam?
Cool Gel M foam that
It's
keeps
space
my
age technology.
bootay nice and cool and soft. So mavix.com/AJ Mavix and use code AJ Mavix and you can get a free footrest and this beautiful chair that's behind me. Wow, that was beautifully done. Thanks,
It
Bryce.
was.
He's already in a better mood.
Yeah, see? I have that way with people.
You do. It's kind of messed up.
It's okay. I can hypnotize both of you. Would you like?
I hope people can hear us.
No, dude, I'm telling you, it sounds fine.
Oh, good.
Why do you think that the microphone needs to be up to your lips?
He
I
did
don't
that
know because
all.
I'm so used to Joe Rogan being like, get up to the mic, get up to the mic.
There must be because I think they have fans going in that pod for like the smoke, like the positive ventilation. They probably like background noise that they're paranoid about picking up. Maybe I don't know. I've never been there.
I'm concerned that my mic level is just way too high.
I don't think it is. It sounds
Why
good.
else would it be yellow? I know it looks green on the thing, but that's yellow. I feel like I overshot the limit. Like it's maxed out and that's not good, which could be why it sounds bad when I get this close.
Yeah, I think it sounds good, man. It really does.
Why are you so concerned about this darn mic?
Because I spent a lot of money on it.
All right, just take it yourself.
So Allie, thank you for
Bryce.
coming on. I know you've been trying to get on
Pleasure.
for a long time. I've really been the one to say no. It really has been me.
It's all right.
I'm like, what are we gonna talk to her about? I'm just kidding.
Allie thought that we were
I
dodging her.
thought you were boycotting me.
No,
Nobody
not at
wanted
all.
me.
No, who wouldn't want to look at that beautiful face?
You
We're
know
gonna
what?
get all-time
Thank you.
record views.
No, you know what? He would tell me, all right, tomorrow it's on. Tomorrow would come. I'd get home from work and you guys had another guest on. What did
You
I
know,
do to you? Huh?
Nothing. You know, it's these. Look, as you know, our schedules are effed. So
They are,
when
yeah.
we had like somebody else wanted to come on, we just had to jump.
You know,
on.
they take the priority. It's okay. I get it.
Yeah, but now you're here, so we want to make the most of it. What is it like being married to the most famous YouTube star on the planet?
It's the biggest pain in my ass. And you know, if you really want to know. We just had a conversation the other night. I have never seen somebody work so hard and such long hours and travel and then wake up the next day and then do the same thing over and over and over again with zero break.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty remarkable.
I mean, just being home and watching it in person and firsthand, like it is insane.
You know what's nice though is I didn't really recognize that until she said that. Because I'm like, well, I sat there for a second. I'm like, wow, you know what? I am doing a lot, but I enjoy all of it, so I don't notice it. And then I'm like, I get mad because she's complaining because I'm never home.
I complain a lot less now, but
And then she's like, AJ, you're really the hardest working person I've ever met. And I'm like, and I sat back and thought for a second. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right.
oh. And I don't want to toot his horn, but I mean, he never stops and he never complains. And it's amazing. Like it actually motivates me. And I am not one to give compliments. But I mean, we've been together, it'll be 9 years in June. And since you started your academy, I don't know, I've never seen anything like it. It's pretty cool to see like what he's built everything into. I used to complain so much
Yeah.
about how much he
I
was gone.
I gotta be honest. I think a lot of people are envious of that, and not that anybody wants to work that many hours, but
Or be AJ.
right, especially that.
Ugh.
But I think the cool thing is you go back to that old adage, like if you find something you love, you never have to work a day in your life, and you fit that. You're the epitome of that to me. It's like, look, you don't look at any of it as work. Yeah, it's long hours, you're working, but you're so willing to get up and do it every single day because that's what you love to do. I fucking want that. Like
I didn't even
just
realize it was happening. You know, like it took her saying that for me to be like, whoa, hang on a second. You're right.
yeah.
Because I never called it work. I still don't call it work. I just do a lot.
Yeah, and let's be real. It's what are you doing? You're having a great time every day, right? So it's
Living the life.
it's fun, but it's definitely, it's long, and having a family, and you guys are married now, and you're taking your like lives together to the next level with houses, real estate, trying to balance like the family life. Like it gets challenging, I'm sure. So like
Yeah.
where do you guys see this going? Not to be your marriage counselor right now, but I mean like so obviously, we talked the last time about some potential plans for moving down south, track, academy's growing, all that stuff. YouTube channel's growing. Um, how do you balance it all?
Our YouTube channel's growing.
We don't even post any videos. I mean,
Did you know we had a YouTube channel?
I did.
We-
I have to be honest, I haven't watched them.
How many subscribers do
don't
we
watch
have?
it. Please don't watch it. We have 520 as of today.
Mm.
It's growing,
Sweet.
popular. I have to say, to answer your question, I used to have such a hard time like giving him space and allowing him to travel and build his business and be gone. But now that I've seen what he's able to turn it into, and now he has more of a vision for where he's headed, it's a lot easier for me to give him the time to do what he needs to do. Because I mean, if you had asked me, how long have you had the academy for? 4 years? 6 years?
4.5.
If you had asked me 4.5 years ago if I thought it would be what it is today, honestly, my answer would be no. I mean, anybody that knows AJ, I mean, before we started the podcast, prime example, there's like never any structure or like
Hmm.
he doesn't think ahead but it all just somehow works out for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's insane.
He's got
With
this
the-
halo.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. So, I mean, whatever he needs to do the next 2 to 3 years to build his business and get it to a point where he doesn't have to work his butt off,
Well, that's the
12
dream, right?
hours a day. Yeah. Whatever he has to do.
Sweet.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I don't know. What's your answer to that?
Well, she would always ask me like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That was Allie's question for me all the time.
Because people always ask me that.
Too close to the mic.
The-
Too close to the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. They they ask you that about me.
Yeah. Like when people would hear that you're a racer and your results and things like that, people would always be like, well, what's his next step? So that got in my head for me to ask you. Now I don't.
I
worry
think
about
that's a really common question. I mean,
Oh, right.
I probably have asked you that before many times. Not since the academy and all your recent success, but
Yeah.
certainly I think that crosses everybody's mind.
Yeah, I mean, I would get asked that a lot in my younger years as well. And I think I had an answer for it in my younger years, and then I didn't have an answer for it for the first few years that I knew Allie, up until 2 years ago, maybe. I
Mhm.
don't know, maybe even up until a year ago, I didn't really have an answer for it. I was like, I don't know. Well, I'll figure it out when the time comes. Which, by the way, is a good mindset to have.
I never thought it was, but I think now I agree.
Because look at where I freaking am. Like I figured itself out. I was just like, all right, I'll just keep grinding away at whatever I'm doing. Not blindly, but sort of blindly. Like, I don't know what the future holds, but I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And then the vision will come.
Yeah.
And it did. And now if somebody asks me what 5 years down the road looks like, I know the only thing I'm stuck with now is I'm at the crossroads of I'm basically as successful as I could possibly be without having additional help,
Mhm.
and I want to work less. Like I don't want to sustain this amount of
It's
effort.
not sustainable.
No, it's not. It's
Yeah,
not
you're
at
gonna
all.
definitely burn out
Yeah.
if you're not already.
So that's my only question, like in my head right now. And I'll figure that out. I don't stress about it. It doesn't keep me up at night. I'll figure it out eventually.
Do you
I might figure it
gamble?
out tomorrow.
Do you gamble? Have you ever gambled?
I
Me?
do.
Are you
Yeah, I'm a big
yeah.
gambler.
I love blackjack.
No, and I'll let you know why I'm asking that question in a second. But have you ever gambled? Do you gamble? Would you be a compulsive gambler if
You talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time gambler. Yes. Not big time gambler, but I love gambling.
You love gambling?
Continue.
You because you kind of fit the mold for somebody who and I think a lot of entrepreneurs share this trait is like your tolerance for risk is so high because it's like almost never enters your mind. And those are the same type of people I feel like who are more successful. I mean, if you could use that word at gambling, or more willing to gamble, more willing to take those risks with because you don't really think of the negative consequence. You just kind of jump into it and you're like, oh yeah, let's try it. Let's throw, a couple of grand at this or that or whatever. Well, it was like somebody like me, I'm so freaking risk averse. I'm like, I feel like I pinch pennies until the Abraham Lincoln shits himself.
Yeah. That I've never
And I
heard
don't
that
need
before.
to
That's
like,
funny.
and I don't need to do that, but it's just like, we were talking the other day with Jay. It's like the mindset. It's just a different mindset.
Because you're sitting there thinking of all the ways you can lose your money and how much money you're going to lose. Where I'm
Right.
sitting at that table strategizing on how I'm going to win money. The
Mhm.
thought of losing money doesn't even cross my mind.
Right.
It's crazy. And I'm more like you, Bryce. And since being with AJ, I fall probably a little bit more in the middle. Because it's true, like his mindset gets him through anything. And if anything, he's always in better situations through through chasing the risk of all the situations that you're in.
Do you ever find, Allie, that you have to kind of like shake him into
Reel him back in.
reality?
Yeah.
Into what?
Reel him back in.
Yeah. Because
Constantly.
I do like, and I joke with him all the time, and I think it's just like a common theme with AJ is like, real life is over here, and AJ is like somewhere
He's
over
not
here.
living in it.
No,
Yeah, he's just coasting,
like-
doing his own thing.
it's like, dude, like, come on, get back. Like, there's reality, and then there's
Bryce,
AJ
I'm
land.
jealous.
Oh
It's
yeah,
pretty frustrating.
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know, but there's
But
definitely more
but
to
obviously
fun.
that's all. I wonder how many guys, especially in Supercross, have that sort of mentality. Like, kind of, that you can laser focus on the things you need to perform, but also like have an attitude where your risk tolerance is pretty darn high. You're not really dwelling on things. Like, clearly some of the top guys in your sport, they're not dwelling on the negative. And I wonder like how, if you were to like survey everybody, where they would fall on that spectrum. I'd probably imagine probably somewhere where you are.
What are the cons to living that way, Allie?
Before I would have said literally anything that can go wrong, losing money, injuring yourself.
See, that's where I'm at. That's what I think about, unfortunately. But
I mean, that's all I think about. I'm
Yeah.
always thinking of the negatives.
I know.
I'm just a normal person over here living my life. But I don't know. I think that there is something to be said being that way. I don't know. I wish I could be that way. I'm not wired to be that way, but it's always worked out for AJ. Everybody always, I don't know if you've ever heard this, like he's the cat with 9 lives or 15 or 20. Like it just always works out. I don't know. It's crazy. I try to have that mindset with things. It's just hard to not think about what could go wrong.
I know. And you don't really ever think that way, AJ. You're not really. Is there an instance you could think of where you're like, shit, what if this goes wrong? What if this doesn't happen? Do you ever do that?
We're in racing.
Okay.
Probably
So like the
only
one
time.
place that
That's
you
the
need
only
to.
time. That is the only time. The only time I've ever thought that way is like on the line of a race. Like I'll think about like, oh, what if I mess that jump up, or what if this happens? like normal thoughts that maybe a lot of people have. Racing is the only time I experienced that. And I experienced it
Isn't
pretty
that
severe.
ironic?
Mm.
And we've had this sit down numerous times before. And I know you look, I keep mentioning Jay, we were just talking to him, but you've been working on that part of your mindset. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough because everybody sees it that you're so opposite of that outside of that gate. You know what I mean?
How weird is that?
It is
If you
so
think
weird.
about it, and yet I am a huge head case on the dirt bike. I wonder what that's all about.
I could go back and get my psychology degree if you pay for it, and I
Do
could
you think
help
that
you.
it's do you think it's because that's what you feel is riding on the rest of your success with your camps, and like do you feel like you need to do well in racing because your camps rely on it in your business
No,
or
not at all.
finances or anything?
No.
So what do you if you had to put money on it, what is it? Is it getting hurt?
Mm, maybe a little bit, but not really. I'm not
Mm.
scared of if I sit there and think about it for a while, I'm scared of crashing and like getting hurt because that sucks. But I don't think about that really. I don't know. I think I see a last name on a jersey and then I'm like, oh, well, I just put that person in front of me in my head. And that's really what it boils down to. And I don't know why I do that. And I don't know when that started because it certainly wasn't that way when I was growing up as an amateur.
I feel like you weren't even like that when I first met you.
Yeah,
Or we
I
never
was.
talked about it.
I was.
Not so much. Not as much, maybe.
Yeah.
No,
I
not
was-
as much because I was so prepared and I was so fit and everything back then that it didn't matter.
Oh,
I could still get away with being a head case and I could still top 10 in the 250 class or top 5 in the 250 class just because I was working hard and like on the dirt bike and riding 4 days a week.
Mhm.
And then when that went away and then I had to rely on just like purely my racing from 2018 to current is 100% mental game because I'm relying on just that and not any practice or any fitness or anything. I'm just relying on like remembering back to 2015, 2014, 2013 and working off of muscle memory, really, right?
Yeah.
Because what else is it? I only ride it like a handful of times a year.
but going back to talking about like risk with that situation, what year was it that you built your track at Tomahawk? And you were all in and you were there every single day? What year was
18.
that? 18? Like you were 120% into that. And because it didn't work, you decided like, oh, I'm not even gonna do that. You're either like all in or you're all out. There's like no middle ground. And I feel like you haven't tried the middle ground yet. To know
Mm.
it's like you tried so hard and then you shut down because it didn't work. Okay, so why don't we find going to the track 3 days a week to practice? And I don't know, you put so much pressure on yourself.
Are you getting uncomfortable, AJ?
No, not at all.
Your face tells me differently. You
Oh,
you
yeah,
look
just
like
been
you're on the
paper.
hot seat.
No, I'm fine with it. Have you heard my stomach?
No, are you hungry?
I'm just feeling some type of way.
Oh,
It might be.
Bryce, where do we go
It
with
might
this?
be.
Should we just call
Does that
It might be my
Mavix
first
does that
poopy on a
Mavix chair
podcast.
does that Mavix chair have absorbent material in it?
It might be my first live poopy.
So Allie, let's get a little bit of your background because you met AJ, what was that, 13?
Yeah,
12?
2013.
Good memory.
2013.
Just graduated high school.
High school? Oh my God, dude. I
Yeah.
like forget how long 2013 was ago. Like how
What? I guess I met you in 2014, probably when I was waitressing. Didn't
13?
you guys?
Yeah. 14, Rhode Island.
You
Yeah.
guys came to the tavern where I was waitressing.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
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 So did you have any experience with dirt bikes or motorcycles
No.
or anything?
I
So
had no idea that it even existed.
so let's walk us through like how you guys met and what you thought of AJ and Supercross and the whole lifestyle, like right off the rip.
So I had a friend in high school that AJ actually trained, and he posted a picture of the two of us on Facebook, and AJ saw it And I don't know, did you like message him about me or did you just go straight to
I
messaging
can't
me?
remember.
I think he just went straight to messaging me. And yeah, you DM'd me.
Huh?
Yeah, he DM'd me. And we talked, I think you were racing outdoors or something. So we talked for like 2 or 3 months before we actually met.
Okay.
And he told me about what he did. I think he was trying to use it as like a cool card. And I was like, cool, I have no idea what that is. Like I live in Rhode Island. We don't talk about dirt bikes. I actually, it's crazy now. I know so many people that ride dirt bikes that I didn't know rode dirt bikes back then. But anyways, so we were kind of like on and off for a little while because of just him being away and racing so much. And when we finally started dating, he would take me to the track. And I don't know if I started getting on dirt bikes at that point though. Did I?
Getting on dirt bikes?
Yeah, like when did Phil teach me how to ride? That was like much later, right?
Yeah.
So I just started going to the track, and one of the first times we hung out, this is totally AJ, he took me on a bike path in Connecticut, 40 miles.
I
made me
remember
ride.
that actually.
That was the most beautiful bike trail I've ever been on. I can't remember what it was. 40 miles he made me do. I was like trying to act tough. Then the next time we went on a date, it was mountain biking,
Mhm.
like aggressive. He had me loaded up with knee pads, elbow pads. I was trying to be tough. I hurt myself really bad. We were always just doing fun stuff. And I liked that about him. He was different from like every other guy that I'd ever met. I was going somewhere with this and I just lost my train of thought.
You're just telling a story.
It happens.
But I thought it was funny because he was in great shape. He was an athlete. He raced, professional supercross racer. And I would go to his house and look in his cabinets. And he always had those, what are they? Tostino's pizza rolls.
Yep.
Tostino's pizza rolls. Then you had what is that? I wasn't allowed to eat these growing up. The chocolate things.
Hostess cupcakes.
Hostess cupcakes.
Yeah.
He literally had the worst diet out of anybody I'd
The
ever met.
worst.
The worst. I'm like, how are you an athlete?
He would show up to like bike rides back then, and he'd like, "Oh, I had a bowl of cereal at 7 o'clock, and I haven't drank a sip of water
cereal
all day."
3 times a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, how? are you
I don't
functioning
do
that
that
way?
anymore though because I'm an old man now, so it doesn't work. But yeah, back in those days, I could eat and drink whatever the heck I wanted,
It's just part of being young.
and it's just part of being young, and would just feel like a beast at all times. Like it wouldn't matter. I would always feel so ridiculously strong on the mountain bike or road bike, no matter what. And now it's like very, very finicky. I have to be like, okay, I eat this at this time, and then I drink this then, and all right, we're good.
That was first on the list when we moved in together finally. Like, I don't know, I think it was like 2 or 3 years later. I was like, diet. I taught myself how to cook. I was like 18 years old cooking full meals, or 19 years old, trying to like make sure that he was actually eating good foods that would help him and not just filling him with a crap ton of sugar like he was used to.
You
But,
do a lot of cooking. I'm pretty jealous of. You have some
I
pretty.
love to cook.
Yeah, so that's a learned skill recently, not something you grew up doing.
No. I mean, both of my parents were really good cooks. Like I grew up eating great food all the time. So when we moved in together, I wanted to learn. Have you heard of Blue Apron?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I started with because it teaches you like all the fundamentals of cooking. But I mean, I think I've gotten a lot better. You like my meals now compared to then. It was pretty bad. But yeah.
Do you guys use a meal service, or what do you do for your dinner?
We did Hello Fresh we've done it like on and off.
HelloFresh?
Hello
Hello
Fresh.
Fresh.
Hello Fresh, yeah. We did Hello Fresh. We did that probably like 5 or 6 times.
Didn't like it?
No, I mean it's good. I mean, all the meals are really good. We really like it. But I just found it like to be, it's not overly expensive, but it's expensive for what I can just go to the grocery store and get. And,
So what do you guys
if you do,
Yeah, we spend a fortune when we go to the grocery
my
store.
God.
so you guys go to
What-
Whole Foods.
Yeah, now we go to Wegmans, which is equally as expensive, if not more expensive for some reason.
I like Whole Foods way better.
So we're Trader Joe's, man. I like
I
Trader
love
Joe's
Trader
because like it's kind of like it's all like organic and natural and decent food,
And way more affordable.
and it's reasonably priced. Like the
Yeah.
price is the price. I had to go to like a local shop right here today just because we were having tacos and I needed some stuff. I almost threw up. Like I hate going there. I hate the whole gimmick of grocery stores. It's like, oh, the coupon and the flyer, and you need the digital coupon. Oh, but you need the app to use it, and like put in your phone number.
I don't mess with coupons.
I just want to go in. I want to I want to know what my groceries are going to cost, and I just want to buy them. Like literally,
Yeah.
that's it. And I don't want like some more morbidly obese, gross person coughing on me in the checkout line.
I never thought about that, but yeah, that's weird, huh? The whole coupon thing. I didn't know that still existed.
I mean, we use it at Whole Foods, but it's simple. You just scan your phone every time you check out, and it always
Yeah,
costs less.
it's a little different than like
But-
getting the circular on a Sunday. You know, like what my mom did in growing up, and then clipping
Yeah.
the coupons and go in there and
Yeah.
like, give me a break. No thanks.
Yeah.
So
but-
what do you guys do? Like,
So-
do you have go-to dinners and meals like weekly?
Yeah,
Because we would-
generally. Yeah, like we do Taco Tuesday. Sawyer loves it.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm just
the way to go.
I could eat tacos every single day. Every single day. I could. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll do, and we try to just be resourceful with food that we have. So like, you know, sometimes we'll have like leftover lettuce. We'll just do like lettuce, chicken sausage, lettuce, salad, chicken sausage, and then I'll like maybe throw pasta on top of it for the carb. But
Yeah.
we try to just we use a lot of the HelloFresh recipe as baselines and just kind of
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
a
They've
lot of
got a lot of good
hodgepodge
recipes
stuff.
to follow.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do. How like do you guys both work remote right now?
Just me. Jen was, but now she's back full. in
She's
person.
back.
Yeah.
I don't know how people that have normal jobs go grocery shopping and cook and plan and do all that stuff. Like I don't have the time to do that.
Bro, I say that to Jen all the time. I'm like,
It's
I don't know
awful.
how normal people do anything.
Or
You know, I
have a
look at like
dysfunctional
growing up
period.
and I'm like, you know, relatives of mine, people we know, it's like they worked 7 to 5, managed to cook, have kids, and then that's of course that's why
and
they
then
don't.
die.
That yeah. Of course that's why they don't work out and stuff. Like F that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm super choosy with what I spend my time doing. Like I'm going to work out. So I'll
Right,
do
exactly.
Blue Apron and not have to worry about going to the grocery store and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What were you gonna say? Go ahead. You're important. Go
I
ahead.
forget. I don't
It's your
remember.
podcast.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
I want to know more about what it's like to be married to a superstar. Sorry.
You know
Well,
what?
it's kind of weird.
No, but for real though. So like, have you gotten yourself in a position where you're out and somebody recognizes them?
Oh my
You've
gosh.
reached
I
that
got
level of
recognized in
celebrity?
Cancun.
I gotta cut you off. We were at the airport going to Cancun, and AJ said, he was like, I gotta let you know, every single airport I've been to this year, I've been recognized. So just, you know, if it happens, I might get recognized. I really don't want to get recognized. I was like, are you kidding me?
Did it get recognized? Of course not, probably.
Did I?
Well, when we were no, not at the airport, but we got to Cancun and somebody DM'd him saying he was a fan. It's getting to AJ's head.
I could tell.
It's happening.
I could tell.
But I genuinely said I didn't want to get recognized in that moment because what happens is
Love it.
I explained this to her. It's not like a normal, like famous person getting recognized where they come off as unapproachable and you would just be like, oh, hey, look at that guy. And like at worst, you're going to have to take a photo with a person.
Mm-hmm.
I love talking to people, but there's certain situations when you're in a rush. Having a YouTube channel, people think that they're your best friend because they get to know you, right? They watch all of your videos 20 minutes at a pop, like 3 days a week. They really get to know the type of person you are. So when a fan comes up to me, like we'll talk for like 25 minutes
Yeah.
and have just a full-blown long conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which
I
is
can see where
great.
that-
It's
Yeah,
amazing. It's cool.
I can see the double-edged sword in that. Like, yeah, you want to, like you were talking about the other day, you want to be part of the community that you're building, but you have a life too, and that's pretty inconvenient sometimes.
Well, and then Allie yells at me. She's like, AJ, your class ended at 6. Why are you getting home at 9? I'm like, well, because I had to talk to everybody and their brother like forever.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great, by the way. It's all great, but it takes time. That's all.
Yeah,
It takes a lot of time.
yeah, I gotcha.
The hardest part for me has been, and this started, I guess it would have been a couple years ago when you said some things that you shouldn't have said and got yourself into some stuff you shouldn't have gotten yourself into. I have a really hard time with people commenting the things that they do on his social media.
Bryce does too.
I
Mhm.
get so defensive and I want to beat people up. And I want to have fights with people, like, you know, over social media.
Well, I know that is all water under the bridge at this point, that whole situation, but I was getting death threats on my Instagram for that.
Were you
whole
really?
thing. Yeah. I
Death
swear to
threats? Like,
God.
what is wrong with people?
Like people wanted to kill my family. Like, and I had a baby at the time. Like, I swear to God. It was ridiculous. I was like, bro, what is happening? But
Yeah, it's crazy. I will respond to people even now, like even if they say something kind of innocent but pretty douchey, I'll
mm.
comment under it and say something. AJ always goes and deletes it. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, you did. I did notice you did that a couple
Let me
times
fight with
me.
people.
Well, because
I
I'll
know.
look over and she'll have
Teach 'em
this
a
like
lesson.
look on her face and she'll be like typing really quick. And I'm like, Allie, what are you doing? She's like, nothing. I'm like, what are you doing? And I look over and she's responding to like somebody that said something on my page. I'm like, stop, do
I
not
like
respond.
bullies.
I'm with you 100%, Ellie. And what I've tried to do, because I used to be that person, and not just with AJ. Like if I saw some bullshit online, I would be the first one to call it out. And then it got to the point where like I started to like reflect on it and be like, what is this serving? I mean,
You're not going to teach them a lesson.
I'm talking
right?
to an actual idiot. They're
Yeah.
not going to listen or change their mind from anything I've said. And it kind of just goes the whole social media is weird because I used to want to be pretty active on social media.
Mhm.
And then it got to the point where like, what am I doing? Like I like the idea of being active on social media for some reason.
Yeah.
I like the idea of like updating my status. I think about updating my status 10 times a day, but it's all witty.
Bryce, are
Kind
you
of
saying update your status like as in Facebook terms or are
He's,
we-
he's talking about MySpace.
Oh, MySpace.
wait, what did I say?
What status are you
My-
updating on
my-
Instagram? How old are you?
no, Facebook. Like
Oh.
just your
Oh,
Facebook status.
Oh, I thought
So-
you were talking about Instagram.
No, well, both. I mean, honestly, or stories, whatever. I
Okay.
feel like I like the idea of posting a bunch of stuff, and then I'm
Mhm.
like, who who really
Why?
cares?
Yeah.
Like, if it's politics related, I mean, I'm either gonna piss somebody off. I'm talking to people who already agree with me, and I'm gonna talk to somebody else who I'm never gonna change their mind anyway. So what's
Yeah.
the point? I'll do like for
And
what
then if
it's
you're doing
worth.
something cool, it's either going to create jealousy or people just don't care.
I know. I've kind of reflected on this a lot lately because I want to post more on social media, and then I'm like, I'm just feeding into the whole like, am I just flexing shit on Instagram? Everything is like
Yeah.
too shiny on Instagram.
Really?
Everyone posts all their best moments. It's not real, I guess is the point. Not your page,
Highlight
AJ.
reel.
Yeah, it's kind of fake.
It's weird what it's turned into for sure. I mean, it's become more toxic, it seems, than like positive.
It's
and-
crazy.
yeah, it's really sad. I mean, I have never been like crazy on social media, but I used to post like on my feed on Instagram like a couple times a month or whatever. I go like 6 months without posting something now. Like I don't
I
really
know.
care as much.
I know. I'm the same way. And
Eh.
sorry, I was gonna say I wanted to post something because I find the Lil Nas X whole thing hysterical. Like that whole
What thing?
the
Go ahead,
Lil
Bryce.
Nas X like and how he did this whole you know him, right? He did the Old Town Road.
Yeah, I know who it is. Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't know.
So
Yeah.
he came out. He has this like
Shoe line.
he's like goes down to hell and gives like the devil a lap dance in his video, and then he came out with Nike sneakers that have pentagrams on them and are like 666 made, and it's really just a troll on all of like conservative Christians who've bashed gay people for however long, and like
Is he gay?
yeah,
Apparently.
yeah, and I just found
Oh.
it hilarious. I'm like, good, like stick it to everybody, but so I wanted to post about it, but then I was like, it's Easter. Like, do I want to be that guy who like stirs shit up?
Is
You
it like
know?
is it a topic of debate at the moment?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Oh,
We
Yeah.
don't have the news in our house. I keep up on it because of my job,
Mm-hmm.
but we do not watch the news. I feel like there's honestly these days no point to it really. I mean, to go on your phone and find like actual factual details about
Right.
things that are going on today, but so typically he doesn't know anything unless I talk to him about it.
oh, yeah, Brett, I mean, he knows. I
Yeah,
don't.
just clueless. Sometimes I think that's a better way to be. I mean, there's times when you're
Sometimes
just looking.
ignorance is bliss, 100%, especially like when it gets really toxic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Me
it's just not attractive.
personally, like I feel, and this is entirely me, this is not how I think everyone should be, just me. I like have a like sense of civic responsibility to at least know what's going around
Yeah.
in my village, in my community, in my country, like that. I don't try to dig myself into a trench though. Like
Yeah.
I completely recognize that if I'm going to turn on my news channel of choice, that it is a confirmation bias. No matter what channel you're watching, it's unless you're watching like BBC America or Al Jazeera or something from overseas that is representing American news, you're getting a media bias. Like there's just no way around it.
So do you
So
watch that as entertainment then?
I what I don't do is I don't go back and forth between channels when they're just talking about bullshit. If like I had on the news yesterday, I'm interested in the George Floyd case. I want to hear the testimony. I want to hear that. So there's no media spin to that. It's just it's on. I want to know.
Yeah.
I
Cut and
want that.
dry. Yeah.
Right. It's just
Is there not a media spin on it? Because there was at one point, right? Is it just at this point?
well, right now the trial has started against Derek Chauvin. So they're
Against who? The cop?
yes, yes. And so I'm just interested in hearing the testimony and how the trial goes because I mean it's an important moment in history, really.
Well, and what could it be? Like, what are they pushing for?
Murder. He's
for
on trial
murder?
for murder. Yeah. Yeah.
Dang.
hmm
What do you mean, dang? I mean, what he did.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think that he was a cop, and then like now
Yeah.
he's on trial for murder, like a year later.
I think
Yep.
this kind of like circles back to the whole social media thing where there's been so much heavy stuff that's happened this year.
It's true.
And I think that's part of the reason why I've kind of backed off because first of all, it was like this whole year has been really sad, I think, for everybody for so many different reasons. And being on social media, you just see people's opinions and how aggressive and mean and like family members and friends and everybody going after each other. It's like, I mean, we can all have our opinions, but we can still like be nice to each other and talk cordially and
Well, and I'll totally sort of unrelated. If you are posting things that are cool, you just get shamed for it anyway.
It's all toxic, dude.
Can't do
Like
anything right.
people, no, you can't. You can't. And
Like I didn't even, I purposely, consciously, intentionally did not post. I don't think I maybe put one story up. I didn't post anything from the Cancun
I
trip
didn't post a single thing.
because I didn't want to get people mad. Like, how silly is that I couldn't share our cool trip because I didn't want to get people mad. I don't want to post a picture of Allie's new car because I don't want to get people mad. I find that end of things to be a little silly too.
I agree. I think that's what we were talking about before. Is like it's people either look at it like you're flexing, but on the other side, you just want to share happy moments. Like that's what Instagram was fucking made for. It's like sharing your
Why
pictures.
do we want to do that?
I don't know.
That's
Are you
what
asking
I always
me?
ask
Like
myself.
like why do we want to show people the good shit?
Yeah, like just for personal like gratification or
I
I always ask myself that. Because at the end of the day, I don't really care to show off anything that I have, or I don't really care to see it. I mean, I actually do kind of like watching other people show off what they have for some reason. Doesn't make me angry. I just like seeing cool stuff on social media. I like seeing people with fit bodies and people that drive cool cars and people that are traveling to cool places. I don't feel the need to really show off my stuff, but I feel like that is kind of the exciting part of social media.
And to answer your question, I agree. And I think that we want to show those things because we hold in such high esteem that lifestyle. So like anytime that we have a reflection of it a little bit, it feels good. It's like, okay, this is what society holds value in, and now I have attained some of that value. And whether it's likes or whether it's not, it's like just knowing people saw it is enough. Like I don't even like a story.
So
like
true.
I just want to see that people saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The whole thing is just bizarre if you think about it, and we're all kind of like drawn to it.
And did you guys see the documentary? What the fuck is it called?
Social Dilemma.
Yeah. Did you see that? So it kind of goes
Crazy.
like it's engineered that way, right? I mean, that's what these companies are doing. They want you addicted. They want to hit the dopamine receptors. They want like you constantly getting a sense of affirmation every time you go onto it. It's kind of sketchy that AJ lives in that world. His business is built in that world and because of that world. And you don't seem to be jaded by it at all, which is another, I mean, kudos to you, sir. Um, but from what
You
I
are
can tell,
addicted to
you
it.
See,
you post
because
a
I
bunch
don't
of
look at it
shit.
that way. But you're right. When you state it that way, I'm like, yeah,
Because you
wow.
look at it as a job, right?
But I don't. No, I just look at it. It's just part of it. I don't
And
think I
maybe that's
think
because
hard
I
enough about
know
it.
you. Maybe outside looking in, people would say, "Oh, he's just flexing all this stuff." But I mean, I see cool dirt bike videos. I see cool like things that we follow you for, but I don't see you being like holding that over anyone else. And I think I do see that on social media where it's like people are doing things intentionally to have an edge over somebody or to flex in spite of people.
Yeah.
And that's when it gets like
So
pretty sketchy.
sad that it's used that way and like
It
what
is.
it does. I mean, the younger generation, have you shared the story of what happens?
Oh yeah.
The
Last night
15-year-old? Yeah, he told us the whole story.
Yeah,
Read it
last-
verbatim.
About kids growing up and the generation below us,
Dude.
they're learning that that's how that they can get attention. And
That's
the girls
scary.
on TikTok that are like 13 years old dancing with like half naked, if that's my daughter, I will die.
I know. It is wild.
How do these people grow up and what's
What's
their future
crazier
look
is
like?
how naive their effing parents are to not understand that that's what TikTok is. Like,
Yeah, they're not strict parents anymore.
I think they're just so completely ignorant and what it is. That's
Or they don't care, or I mean, they're too busy working their crazy jobs right now. I don't know. It's just weird how social media has completely taken control over the world and like
it is
changed its
wild.
course with how people grow up and how people feel fulfilled. And it's just weird.
I think the pandemic made everything worse because people were bored, and people.
Yeah.
So I think two things happened. One, people got really bored during lockdown, and the other part of it was people were like looking for an escape. So like on this at the same time we were out there seeking the social media that we were like, "Oh, that's awesome. Cars, trips, cool things." Like we wanted that, but at the same time we were super bored, locked down. So like and everybody's getting tense and fired up, so then it became like a toxic melting
Yeah. And
pot.
I thought it was going to start off the other way where, I mean, it seemed like it was going to, where it was like bringing people together and like having families do challenges and like stuff like that. And then it just got weird
Mm.
real quick. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing I really have a hard time with. Just being his wife or whatever I've been the last 9 years is just like seeing all the backlash that he's gotten. I mean, I'm pretty tough on him, I would say. Like, I know that he needs to, like, be a little bit nicer in his delivery with a lot of the things he says. People don't understand that he actually does have a huge heart and he's super giving and he would do anything for anybody, but he just comes off as like, am I allowed to swear on this? A huge asshole. But he's not.
Right.
Why is that, you think?
Are you asking me?
Is it my tone? Like in the
Your face, you just have a
Really?
punchable face. Just kidding.
um well, I think I've called you out on this before with like Dave and Luke, where it's like, yeah, I don't think you realize
No, he doesn't.
probably because you're so like out of the loop. And I'm not being critical on you to be a jerk. I'm just saying you consciously make the decision to not be involved in the toxicity of real life, whether that be the news, current events, whatever. So because you're so removed from it, you have a problem like recognizing your own rhetoric. And I think that's the problem. Like that one,
That was a good way to put it.
right?
Yeah.
So what was that? There was one instance, and we were all like, "Dude, you need a PR manager because like clearly what you said made perfect sense, but you just sounded like such a douche saying it, but you didn't realize that you sounded like a douche."
Yeah. What was that having to do with the Gypsy Tales Mathis situation?
Yes. What?
I
Yeah.
gave you a lecture that night too. Because of that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like he always actually this is the most annoying part about him. Like even if we're arguing, everything he says makes perfect sense and it's valid, but it's just his delivery makes you not want to listen to
It's
what he has to say.
cringe as fuck.
Yeah, it's annoying.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Like if you just switch up
Sorry,
your
AJ. I'm
delivery,
sorry.
people would listen a lot
What
more.
do you mean? What do you mean?
Like if you're bossing me around or
Okay,
like
that
trying
I
to help
get.
me fix something, it's like your tone and
Okay,
your
well
face.
that I
and,
get. That's obvious too, but
I think on like a general basis though, your tone and your lack of facial expression are probably your biggest problems with your delivery.
really, I feel like I have a pretty animated face sometimes. No.
Your jaw.
There's a smile. I just saw a smile.
By the way, there was a couple people on Gypsy Tales podcast making fun of the fact that my jaw doesn't move when I talk. It's probably because I freaking broke it or something when I was a kid, and
I've always told you that.
I
though.
can't open my mouth enough to talk, so my jaw just stays like this.
Permanent lockjaw.
I've spent a lot of time looking at your face talking, and I never noticed that before.
You don't? Do
Really?
you notice anything weird about my mannerisms or anything about the way I talk?
Yeah, you kind of don't move your lower jaw.
Yeah. It's just
Oh,
I'm just
okay. So
kidding.
you do
No,
notice
no,
it. Oh,
no, I don't. I really don't. I
You don't?
promise. I don't.
because I don't notice anything about you. Like you seem normal.
I,
Do
I, you know what's funny about this podcast is I pick up on a lot of things that I do that are annoying to me, and probably no one else would.
Like-
other people noticing that.
Like what? Tell me, and I'll tell you if I notice it.
So I do it after every time I talk almost, or this is how I think. I like look down and fidget with something. Have you
Oh.
noticed me do that?
Yeah. Well, yes, sometimes.
I'm trying desperately to break that
The
habit. I don't
only
know
time
why I
it's
do that.
distracting is if it's delayed and it happens in the middle of like me or somebody else telling a story. Then it like.
Well,
it
that
can
I'm
get-
purposely ignoring you, probably.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you do it right after you get done talking and just do this quickly,
Yep.
then that's
Yep.
fine.
Well, I feel like that's annoying.
No, is there anything?
I haven't
Uh,
noticed you do that once.
Huh?
I haven't noticed you do that once.
You'll notice it now, I'm sure.
Maybe.
you told me I do. Oh, that I just did it. I just did what you told me that I do.
But
Before I talk, I think you said I go.
Always.
Or I don't.
oh yeah. Although if you hadn't just said that, I wouldn't have noticed. So now I guess
Because I
it's
don't think
just-
I very
you're consciously
yeah
thinking about it
big
now.
time. Yeah, I tried it because when I watched the Gypsy Tales thing back,
That was the first thing I said when you played it.
yeah, she kept
Mouth
saying I had a
noises.
lot
You
of
did
mouth
it?
noises.
It's because you're eating the microphone.
Yeah. Look at you. Just
I
put
gotta
two
t-
hands on it.
I gotta t-
Well,
I got to turn the mic level down. I think
What is
but I don't
ugly?
know how to
You
do
have
it.
Just put it down.
because it just feels nice right here. Our
Uh,
audio levels are gonna be so out of control.
people are used to it by now.
Yeah.
I do like this setup though. I mean, for you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You look really professional. You know what bothers me though is that Bryce has it all set up and then you just look like a train wreck.
Oh, I'm in a
See, but that's the thing. I mean, he's got an actual room. I'm in an unfinished basement with a green
Are
screen.
you?
Oh
yeah.
you should see.
Wait,
this.
that's not real brick behind him, right? That's a back.
Oh God,
I thought it
no,
was real brick.
no,
I mean, it could be. I don't know.
no.
I assumed it wasn't, but I wasn't sure.
Hello.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
He's the. All right. I like that.
Yeah.
That looks good.
It's my best
We're in a
option for now.
transitional stage. We're in a transitional stage.
We're in a transitional
Yeah.
stage
He's
because
got an office with paint drippings everywhere. The carpets are stained,
the
empty.
well, like the process of taking my actual office where we used to do all the podcasts and then converting that into a nursery and moving the
Congratulations,
office.
by the way.
Thank you. And moving the nursery into, or no, moving the office into a spare bed. It's just, and we're not done. And so here I am down here for now. Which
Have
actually
you
it's
guys go ahead,
fine.
son.
No, it's fine because I could be loud down here and don't wake
Yeah, that's
anybody
good.
up.
That's good. Have you guys ordered all your furniture or is it super delayed?
So what do we need for furniture? Sawyer will be getting a new bed. He's going to be getting like the guest bedroom bed, full size bed. So we don't need to get anything. We already have it. The baby will get his crib.
Okay.
And
all right,
then
you kept his stuff.
we're basically just recycling stuff that we have, and
Yeah, that's smart.
Jen will either be like putting new hardware on it, refinishing it, whatever. So
Do you have
Otherwise-
all of Sawyer's old? Sorry.
old diapers? No.
Uh,
Goes away.
like clothes. Will you reuse
Oh
all of
yeah.
his old?
Mm-hmm.
That's
for
so
sure.
convenient.
So convenient. So
Yeah.
convenient. So,
I was gonna
yeah.
say because furniture is taking. I mean, like if you had to order, you probably wouldn't have even had it in time for the baby.
Everything's taken a while. We got a new bed like over when was that? Christmas time, and it took 3 weeks, and it should have taken 4 days. And that
Oh,
was,
3
and it's
weeks.
worse
Well,
now.
We're in an empty house.
It's
so
worse
shit.
now.
We ordered a couch 4 years ago.
Our house is empty.
Hmm,
Completely.
What
that's
else? I ordered a Schmegel, a toaster
hmm
from Williams Sonoma. I don't know, 3 months ago.
It's long gone. It's not coming.
Jeez.
They just took the payment today,
Oh,
so that's
did?
good news.
You want to know what's funny is so like I just got a delivery from Camelback today. It was supposed to be here yesterday. FedEx, that took a little bit of time. FedEx doesn't know their left hand from the right, it seems. They give me 3 separate delivery by dates, and it comes on none of them.
They do what they want.
And then I order on like I might have even been like an Instagram link. It was so the bike seat that I showed you the video of today, AJ, with Sawyer on it.
Cool.
So cool.
Did you see
But
that?
it was like it was some Chinese knockoff, like the website was literally in Chinese, and like I was super sketched when I ordered it. I'm like, there's no way this is coming here, and I got it today, like 3 weeks ahead of schedule from China.
Wow.
I'm like, how is that?
I don't know. That didn't happen to AJ when he ordered the beanbag.
Oh, God.
Or Bear's
Beanbag.
bed.
The beanbag is one of the worst decisions of my life.
Did you ever talk about that?
I've
Did I
not heard
talk
the
about that?
beanbag story. No.
This is the only time AJ's had too much time on his hands.
Well, a Facebook ad popped up, and it was a whole family laying down on a beanbag, and we were in our other home,
Waiting for the couch to be delivered. And
Had-
it was delayed by 3 months.
waiting on a couch, and I was like, oh, how perfect would this be? It's like a 7-foot beanbag, and it was $250. I'm like, sick, yeah, we'll get that. So I order it, comes in, and it was just the freaking shell of the beanbag
What?
with
I've
no
never seen
with
something
no
so big,
with
honestly.
no with no bean. It was just the bag. And I was like, are you kidding me? So I just paid $250 for this shell of this beanbag. And then I went on Wayfair and I just started ordering, like I had to do 4 orders of whatever filler this was, and it was still
Half full.
oh, half, not even close. We'll call it 30% full,
He was
35%
fully
full.
invested in this beanbag for like $500.
So I'm $500 in the beanbag, and I had to give up on it, and I threw it away.
Wow. Yep. So I'm curious how you managed to not realize that it wasn't the full beanbag chair.
Because it had like pictures, it had description, it had
It was in
you
the
name it,
description.
and
You just
then
didn't read it.
in the bottom, I'm talking like the finest of fine print, it said something about that.
Stuffing
but,
not included.
Then I went back and looked at the reviews after the fact, and all the reviews were like, this was really misleading. It's just a shell. So if I just read the one review, I would have known. But
You never read reviews. The same thing happened with the paint in the house. Didn't
Mm.
read reviews. One review, if you had read it, would just have told you not to hire the painters. So they're pretty important.
Hey, these are lessons that need to be learned sometimes, right?
Yeah. He's just
You
doing
gotta learn the
average
hard way.
person stuff. He's just learning it later in life.
Yeah, right.
It's all right, Albert.
whoops. Hey, should we do a part 2 of this sometime? Because I gotta go to bed.
I don't know.
That's
if I'm that
that's
good
an
with
abrupt
this.
ending.
I feel like I had so many things that I wanted to say on here that I thought could have been cool, but
I want you to
I don't know,
rattle
I
them
sat
off.
down
Rapid
and I just-
fire.
Give us one thing.
I sat down and it all fell out.
That happens to us all the time. You need not
does?
worry. No,
I never have a hard time talking ever. I could talk for days,
same. But
but I'm
it
having a
has
hard
to go
time.
to bed.
Yeah, it's way past my bedtime. I go to bed at 8 most nights.
I was gonna ask you, this kid, punch him.
What?
He was falling asleep. You didn't notice that? I was gonna ask you just like how the whole wedding thing. You guys were one of the unfortunate ones who got kind of scraped by COVID in that regard.
I would say fortunate, honestly.
Fortunate. Okay, so that's cool. I want to hear about it.
Fortunate. Well, I like very few people in this world, like very few. And there's I mean, the list that we had originally had was like over 180 people, I think.
It's a pretty good sized wedding.
Most of them were actually AJ's friends and family because I don't really have that many friends. I don't really like to have many friends. But anyways, so we had to reduce the size, and it actually ended up being, I think it was just our wedding party and our family, right? Yeah, and it was outside, so it was safe. We had masks, hand sanitizer, everything for everyone that came. And I think we ended up having less than 50 people. I think it was like 45 or something. And it was the most perfect, intimate day ever. Like I wasn't excited to be a bride, and I don't like people looking at me. I don't like attention. This guy does. He should have been the bride. So it just ended up working out. It ended up working out really nice. The team that I work for, we worked for a bank, and we transitioned to another bank. And I was working, like, I'm not joking, 90-hour weeks. I was exhausted. AJ was doing his camps, and I was trying to plan a wedding. So we didn't have a wedding planner, and we pulled it off. Literally didn't have any of the details put together until the last week.
And COVID played to our advantage in that because we booked like the caterer and all of that very last minute, where people are booking that typically a year ahead of time or whatever.
Well, I remember asking you, have you gotten this done yet? And this was like a year out, and I'm like, dude, you better get on that.
I was the worst.
But how far out did we book the caterer?
2 weeks.
Yeah,
That's not an exaggeration. 2 weeks.
No,
before the
I
wedding.
believe you.
And that is not like, I'm a planner. I get anxiety if I don't have everything in line. Like my OCD starts to kick in and I panic. I could not have cared less. Things were going wrong on the wedding day. Like my hair person didn't show up until literally 30 minutes before the ceremony. I was like, I don't
Yikes.
care. That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
And it ended up being the best day ever.
And I booked our honeymoon like 3 days before the wedding.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. We crawled into the wedding. We were both so tired and overworked, but it was awesome.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
it wasn't the
awesome.
best day of his life, but it was the best day of mine.
Why do you say that?
No, it was. It was.
What?
Huh?
No, you told me you've had a lot of exciting moments. See, that's an AJ douchey comment.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So how is married life? Is it everything you had expected it to be?
No,
Did it change you guys?
no.
That's good.
I would
expect
I signed
it
up
to be,
for.
though. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like what's changed.
Did it help you at all with like just perspective, or do you really just, it's just a matter of now it's an official thing?
Nothing's changed. Literally nothing has changed.
Well, things for me have changed.
Like what?
I would say I'm more secure.
Oh, really?
Because I used to, when we first moved in together and he started his training camp.
It is really hard to get phone numbers with this ring on my finger.
Oh, give me
See,
a
I
second.
found it the exact opposite. I would walk into bars with this ring
Just
after we got
attract all the
married. And
girls.
it was like they were falling on top of me. I couldn't-
When we first moved in together and you were traveling all the time, and I had like nothing to do because we had just moved to Georgia.
Mhm.
I was so insecure about you being gone all the time and traveling, and I don't know.
Mhm.
And now that we're married, I just kind of do my own thing and I trust him. I mean, I've always trusted you, but I just like trust the process of what he's doing. I don't know. Isn't that weird that getting married would change my perspective like that?
I don't
That
think it's
got-
weird.
It got better when we got engaged.
Yeah,
all
I
of
don't think
that.
that's weird.
I think just to know the commitment that I was spending all this time away from you was going towards like the greater good of us having a future together.
Yeah, I don't think
makes
that's weird
sense.
at all. That's why I asked the question. I mean, I
Yeah.
kind of expected that would help. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've definitely gotten better too. Like you're more patient and you take more time to communicate and like step aside from work when you're traveling. Like he's definitely gotten better. You say nothing's changed, but you've definitely gotten better too. I mean, but I feel like there needs to be more emphasis on how hard, marriages, but like relationships in general are, let
Mhm.
alone to be with someone that's like traveling all the time. Why don't people talk about that more? Like,
You
that's
know what?
normal.
We were talking about just like the stigma of mental health. Yeah, with Jay.
Yeah.
And I was reflecting on that today because I'm like, I've been with Jen for 17 years.
Oh.
17 years.
How old are you?
We started dating when I was 17 and I'm turning 34 next month.
Oh
Well,
my gosh,
May.
that's crazy.
So like half of my
Babies.
life
Yeah.
will have been with her. And I was thinking and like it stuff gets stressful, man. But like I was thinking not
You're almost 10 years older than me.
what kind of math are you
Call
doing?
him out.
Well, I'm 26.
He's
thought you were
not
27.
26.
You're 27.
Yes, he's 27, turned 28. What is wrong with you? Why do you have such
Are
a
you
weird thing
okay?
about age? No, he's not.
You're just older than I thought. Sorry to interrupt. Continue.
He's just jealous of your head of hair.
You're
Continue.
telling me. You're telling me.
Continue.
Well, how about this? So you're 3. How old? Wait, how old was I in 20? When did we start like hanging out? 2012? 2011?
No, it couldn't have been that long. No, I would
12.
say it was more like 12 or
It was
13.
2012. 2012.
Was it really?
Yeah. It was kind of I hate to be said, it was right after Coulter died, pretty much.
Right after who?
You never that was long before your days.
I thought. Wait, what did you just say?
Like he was right on the verge of like he was almost a group chat member.
Somebody died. Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah. I hate to bring it up.
That's why I was just confused.
I use that as a reference point because I remember being at his funeral and me talking to you and like expressing my reverence he had for you. And I think it was like a couple weeks later we like went on our first mountain bike ride together.
Wow. See, I would have guessed a couple years later. I
That's
would
how
have
much
guessed.
your friendship.
Well,
means.
think about it. So 2013. Wait, no. When did you guys start dating in 13? I remember when you guys started dating. So we were at least hanging out then. 2014 is when we went to Highland for that first time, I think, right? Or was that the second time? No, it was the second time that we went to Highland.
Wow, that's amazing. It was that long ago.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Wow.
It's nuts.
It's so scary.
It's nuts. But anyways, back to the whole relationship thing. So I was thinking, do you guys watch The Office?
I've seen random
No.
episodes.
Okay.
Same.
So I was watching The Office, and one of the episodes, like Jim and Pam are like go to marriage counseling, and I'm like, and it brought me back to what we were talking about with Jay, but like why does marriage counseling always get associated with like people who are on the verge of divorce? I think that people would benefit from like just like I benefit from talking to a mental coach, just like you benefit from talking to a mental coach. You Marriage is a team. No team is going to show up to a game without having practiced, and no team is going
Or
to
coach.
expect or coached, and no team is going to be expected to just play games every single day. They need to practice and refine their skills. Like
Yeah.
it should be that it should be destigmatized. Not that we need marriage counseling in the negative way, but I'm saying like it is a lot of work, and you do have to be on the same page, and you do have to work as a team, and you should have at least the the confidence or lack of stigma to go to somebody and say, "Hey, look, we're a team. We're trying to achieve this goal. This is how we'd like to get there," and it should just be like that. Just should be part of a successful marriage to me.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But it's always when you hear marriage counseling, you're like, oh shit, they're
Always
about to
too
get
late.
divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't look at it that way at all. Like because especially of late, Jen and I have had like some really meaningful conversations about like what do we both want to do career wise, where do we want to end up, when do we want to sell this house, when do we want to buy another house, we're having another baby. So like there's a lot of big life things that are happening, and I would certainly want some guidance from somebody, or at least a mediator, to be like, yeah, this is what you guys should focus on. This is what you shouldn't. This is what's taking up too much time. All those
Yeah.
types of things. So,
Yeah, it's definitely weird that people use like a therapist or a coach or whatever at a point where it's
hey, buddy.
because we locked him out. It's weird that they use somebody when it's too late, and it's weird that it's like not normal to talk about having like struggles or working through things in a relationship. I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, too many
Because
people I think throw in the towel just way too early.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. I mean, even like my parents kind of. I mean, a lot of people do,
or your
and I
parents
feel
are.
like,
Oh, I think I might have known that.
huh?
I said your parents are divorced, and I didn't realize
Yeah,
that, but I think
yeah,
I
yeah.
might have.
And I just always think like even back to that, like, I mean, you have kids and you do all those things together. Like it is hard. We don't
Mhm.
even have kids yet. So we can't relate to necessarily some of the things that you guys probably struggle through, but like houses, marriage, COVID,
Hmm.
jobs that are freaking crazy. Like life throws so many different things at people. I mean, that's one of the best things I think about somebody like Jay or whatever, just to kind of help people through things and give them perspective and guide them.
For
I
sure.
don't know. Things are
Yeah,
tough these days.
sure are. Social media makes it all 10 times worse too.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes you
Bring
feel
it
like you have
back
to be
around.
perfect.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Skinny, six pack,
Yeah.
Range Rover,
Hmm.
traveling. You
Yeah.
turning us off? Does he always
Oh,
have ADD like this? Or
No,
hey,
really, this is
what's
pretty
our
uncharacteristic.
it's me?
what's our audio sound like?
You're swiping, and that's how it moves up and down, huh?
Any better?
Worse. Try that.
I
That's
muted
off.
you. Okay, how about now?
That's good.
Better?
Are you really doing that in the middle of the podcast?
Well, because I was just thinking about the fact that like this mic is not designed to be talking into it from this far away.
But I can hear you clearly. Like you could. It sounds like you're far away, but I can still clearly hear you.
Why are you making excuses for wanting to hold it so close
I'm
to
just
your
getting
mouth? Hold it
anxiety
close to
about the
your mouth.
mic. I want to have it set up properly. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. Next time.
Next. Yeah, you could just use this as a test podcast. You don't have to, I can tell you're not into
I
it.
didn't even hit record. I forgot. So,
Oh, I heard about that.
Allie, I'm not even joking. I almost messaged you, and I was gonna ask you like, so is AJ pissed at me like for real? But I was like,
No, if
she's.
I did that, he would have killed me. He came down and was laughing about it.
I was so pissed. I almost smashed my
You
computer.
should have seen the look on his face when it happened. He didn't tell me what had
Dude.
happened, and
Because it was a long time, right? Like an hour.
It
or
was an
something?
hour and a half. Like
just the look on his face. He didn't say anything. He didn't say that he was gonna say anything. He just got this look on his face, and I go right away. I'm like,
no.
"You didn't record, did you?"
I said no.
Is that actually the first time that's happened?
It's the first time.
That's surprising that you guys have gone this long without
See how
doing
it
that.
says recording up in the top left-hand corner?
Yeah, that's how you know.
That's how I know.
So AJ,
But
it's actually your fault for not.
well,
catching
yes,
Well,
partially.
it
because
is
I remember
partially, and
thinking. I remember
You threw me
looking
under the
on you.
bus. Threw me under the bus in social media. Didn't like laugh at the end or like make it lighthearted.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, I was just like, yep. And I was like, oh, dude. What
Oh,
threw
'Cause I-
me off
man.
the worst is like the GoPro that we both use for the webcam blinks as if it's recording. And I was like looking at that. I'm like, oh, it's
So
recording.
just because it's blinking doesn't mean it's actually recording.
That the camera has nothing to do with the recording.
Yeah, it's just like the camera's on. That's all
The
that.
But doesn't
camera's
it have
on.
sound or no?
No, this is sound.
That doesn't have sound.
Normally, yes. not in
Normally,
this
but we're
situation.
using the mics instead.
Oh, 'cause
That's
so
why
if it's plugged in. You
Yeah.
can't. Oh man,
Slim
so-
Shady. I love it.
Right.
you've gone this long without doing it though. That's pretty impressive.
So, Bryce, when you talk to us, do you look into the camera or do you look at us?
I have my GoPro suction cup to the back of my laptop, and it's
That is
just
the smart way.
it's
yeah.
just above the screen. So like I would imagine I'm looking a little bit lower than your eyes.
Yeah, but it looks like you're looking us in our souls, which is kind of nice.
My
trying
neck
to.
hurts so bad because of this crappy setup that you
Oh.
have.
You know what you need?
What?
You need a Mavix chair.
Or some
Mm.
CBD bomb. I was thinking CBD
Yeah.
bomb.
That would help too.
Yeah.
You want to?
But you
You
have
just-
that.
You didn't give your guests the same setup that you have.
Do you want the little neck
Why do you
rub?
get the nice chair and the pain bomb?
How about his co-host? Do you want to see the chair that I'm working with?
Yeah, let me see
Gee,
it. Let's see it.
No, it's not. It's honestly staple.
It's a knockoff Mavix chair. It kind of almost looks like this one.
Is it comfy?
I know nothing else, so it's comfy for me.
Does
Is
it
But
have a DVL system?
It doesn't. My ass is hot. My lumbar is
You got
fucked.
swamp ass?
It's terrible. It's
Oh.
not ergonomic. It doesn't look as good. I don't have a footrest.
Is that the chair that you work in or no?
Yeah, I go back and forth. I'm kind of all over the place with work chairs these days.
Do you
Like, I'm
sit
in
most
my
of the day
kitchen.
when you work?
I try not to. A lot of my job is on the phone. Like I talk to clients a lot, so I pace.
Yeah.
And a matter of fact, when we first started this podcast, I would walk around with my laptop and my mic in my house because I've had to learn to sit down and do this.
You've gotten much better at it. You fidget less than you used
It
to.
is
too.
so hard,
Thank you.
especially if you sit down all day long.
It is. It honestly is. And I'm not like I'm never just completely sedentary all the time. So
Yeah,
honestly, sitting down for an hour and a half, 2 hours, it's tough for me.
it's tough for me too. I mean, I have such a hard time at work. I sit all day long. I need to get a stand-up desk.
I know those are legit.
Yeah.
You okay, AJ? You look like a Dr. Seuss character.
Dude, somebody that at the beginning of class today,
You got the Rona?
one of the parents comes up to me and he goes, I see you got that Mexican or you got some color from Mexico, huh? And I'm gonna get canceled now because
You got some color from
you got
Mexico.
Can you bleep that out, please?
What did he say? He didn't say you got that Mexican color because that would have sounded a little bit
Spanish?
off. No. Got that Cancun color. Got something to reference
Something
the
that you
fact
shouldn't
that.
put on the podcast.
But you're in a tropical climate close to the equator, and you got UV sun exposure. And
Yeah, but I didn't. I got this sunburn yesterday at class.
oh.
So I was like, no. Actually, yesterday when it was like 50 degrees, but I didn't put sunscreen on, I roasted myself and I'm bright red.
I do want to ask before we go. You said you texted me from Mexico and you said, wait till you hear some of these stories from this trip. And I haven't heard any. And I want to know now that Allie is here, I want you to tell me these stories.
I mean, they're not crazy good stories, but there's definitely like.
You just trying to hype it up for no reason?
No, it hit the fan. Bryce would have a freak out for sure.
Okay.
Okay, now I need to hear it because you're probably right. You usually hit these on.
Go ahead, Allie.
Before we start on this topic, I just need to say that AJ has an extremely low threshold for how clean hotel rooms should be. And my threshold is probably too high.
I was in his Daytona hotel room.
Oh, and Daytona is bad as it is.
That was a
even if you're
nice
good
Daytona
hotel.
hotel too, and
It
it's
probably
not
wasn't
very
if you were saying
cleanly.
it's nice.
But I mean, it's like the Ocean Walk. It's like to consider one of the nicer hotels, but yeah, the room is not.
So my idea of a vacation is staying in a place that's as nice as your home or nicer.
Or nicer.
I don't feel like going and paying to stay at a place where I don't want to sleep on the sheets.
100%.
Everywhere that AJ goes, he insists on saving money and booking hotel rooms where like there's boogers smeared on the wall or like it has that nasty top sheet, like the decorative one that you know is just disgusting, or there's toenail clippings on the carpet, or
These are some wonky.
it smells like mold when you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
He'll take his clothes off, he'll strip, and he'll just hop right in and pass out.
Yeah. I'm 100% on your side with that, Allie. So was this hotel not desirable?
Here's my segue. Go ahead.
Okay.
Take the mic.
That was terrible.
So
we are in our transport to the hotel, and Allie goes, something secrets. And I was like, I don't think I booked secrets. And she goes, no, you booked secrets. And I was like, I don't think I did. I think it's called dreams. I don't think it's called secrets. And she's like, oh no. I'm like, no, the reviews were really good. It was rated like 4 something, 4.7. Like I did my research. I thought it looked nice. And I wasn't concerned at all. Like when she brought that up and then I said that back, I was like, she's just being the princess. And then she's stressing out. I'm totally fine and unfazed.
No, I was calm.
When we pull up to the hotel and it is like a very underwhelming entry.
It's not even gated, which all of the hotels in Cancun are gated. You walk in, it smells like mold.
Just right away. It was like, it reminded me of, I'm trying to think of a reference, but like a resort that a person would go to in a romantic comedy or something.
Okay.
That is like pretty subpar, and like there's parties going on, there's people doing like, there's just like the thing is, it's not like it was a bad place.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
but everyone was loving it.
Right.
Okay.
What for most
Careful
people,
on your words.
I'm trying to like word this as normal, like as
Yeah, I know.
good as
You don't want a
possible.
backlash about that from the owners will probably cancel our podcast.
It
For-
was
for
how
people that maybe don't travel or
I
don't
think a
care
lot
about
of people,
cleanliness.
yeah, I think a lot of people, and I want to dance around this carefully too.
That maybe you're
Their,
just
their
more into
threshold,
partying.
like you said, their expectation isn't necessarily as high. You know,
Yeah, just different. It's just different.
the same people who like they're going out on the weekend to Applebee's. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, totally.
okay,
that's
right,
not.
right,
I don't want
right.
to. That's not offensive. I hope.
Which, by the way, is totally fine.
Yes.
I'm not trying to really be careful. I think it's wrong to like make a person.
Well,
like that
somebody's
feel
gonna be
bad
like,
about it.
"Oh, that's all. I love Applebee's. That's all. That's what we. What I don't know.
I do too, but I don't always choose to go there.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and she's on
It's so
par
crazy
with-
we have to do this right now. But
Isn't
I
it
get
weird?
it. I
Well,
get
no,
it.
this is
Let's all just say
no,
what we
no, no,
think.
no, no, no. This is one thing that like I agree with dancing carefully around it because I think that there's a lot of stuff that people say that is freaking ridiculous that it gets taken out of context. This it makes sense. Like somebody that makes less money shouldn't be shamed that they can't go to nicer places.
Right. That is true.
This is a real thing that like I do want to be careful when I talk about it. But the problem is when you start living in nicer places, you're not going to go on vacation in a place that's not as nice as the place that you live, unless you're going like to Europe and like backpacking and like doing an adventure
Which
trip.
we did in Switzerland.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
fine. But when you go on a vacation where you're just lounging and you're just in your hotel room the whole time,
Mhm.
you need to be in a hotel room that's nicer than your
Comfortable.
house.
Or
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah,
So-
I know how this sounds to people. I know, but I do not disagree with you. It's bratty. It's pretentious. I'm 100% on your side. I agree with you 1000%. But yeah, I hope that doesn't come across as like too douchey.
I know.
But I do because
Well, it definitely sounds douchey, but
it,
it's just the truth.
yeah, I know, but I would. I also think that like a lot of how do I want to put this?
But anybody would agree with that statement. And it's just that a person that lives in a less nice home would then go to a place like that and be like, wow, this is amazing. Where just like there's just different levels to it. And people have different standards of like what they want. I think that's fine. That's fine. I think that was a good way to
Didn't
say
meet,
it.
and
it didn't
also-
meet your expectation.
And also, I'm just someone that likes cleanliness. That doesn't matter to some people. So even if they have all the money in the world and they don't care about that and they want to go to a place where they want to party with other people that want to party, that's where they go.
That's
It's not
true.
necessarily about money and the threshold. I mean, that's also a layer of it, but certain things are more important to people than others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And there are just levels to it. Like where
Yeah.
we went to Cabo and we stayed at the Nobu and we thought it was really nice. There's some people that might go to the Nobu and think that it's a crap hole.
And
And it's-
actually, it was so nice. It was boring. I mean, it's just different in every situation. But anyways,
Mhm.
Right. Like right away, the entry, you could see the look on her face. And then
it's just my.
I was
face.
like, it's fine. We'll see what happens. And then we go to check in and just like the lobby and like all the commotion in the lobby, there's kids running everywhere. So that's a big thing too. Like
I feel like we're not gonna be able to paint this in a way
we-
that actually.
we want to go to resorts, at least until we have a kid, that there's no kids. Because
That
why
might
would
be
we want to
tough,
go
but
and have
okay.
a million kids running around at a resort?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that unless you have a kid. So there's kids running everywhere. There's families running everywhere. Just like, and I'm like, okay, this is all right. And then we go out back, like to where the beach is. And we go to sit down to eat lunch because why? Because our room wasn't ready yet.
For 2 hours.
Were you early check-in? or-
They're early.
No.
No.
Okay.
We checked in afternoon, which is like normal check-in time.
Yeah, we got there like 1:30 and they're like, oh, your room won't be ready till 3. I was like, oh, okay. So again, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. She's still just like
No, I was quiet. I was
not
good.
having it. Yeah, but I know what you were thinking. And then
Hmm.
then we order food at one of the restaurants by the water.
Someone didn't show up to our table for 15 minutes.
Yep. And then once we ordered, it took forever.
45 minutes, no joke.
Wow.
It was just
Mhm.
like the.
So all these things are just piling up in your mind. Like, yep, I
Which it doesn't sound that bad, but
when you pay money to go to somewhere where there is an expectation of service, I think that does sound bad. I think it does. It would piss me off. It would
Yeah,
definitely
and
like,
when you go somewhere where like I don't know how to say, well, it's first of all it's all inclusive, so food normally at those places is just like not good and not good quality, which I'm
Mhm.
annoyingly a freak about. And then where you can't necessarily drink the water and things like that, you just worry about cleanliness and how things are presented and made and all that stuff. He
Yeah,
gets sick and then it causes his vertigo. It's like all this stuff.
and how about like a couple? Was it Mexico where they were, or no? It might have been a Caribbean island where they were swapping like the alcohol containers, and then like people were getting
Oh,
sick and dying because like they were cutting the alcohol in
I
the
feel
mini
like I've heard of
bars
that.
in the bars.
Was that a couple years ago?
Yeah, it wasn't terribly long ago. Some of the details escape me right now, but yeah, there was like some fiasco with the alcohol, like the local alcohol. It was either bootlegged and like they were cutting costs
I
by
think that was
putting
in
it in an
Cancun.
it might have been. It was somewhere down there.
Yeah.
Is
Huh.
that racist? Fuck, I don't know.
No.
The way you
So
laughed, I was like, oh shit, I just
Geographical down there.
yeah, you're right, down
You're
under,
fine.
under
so
Florida.
anywho, we order our food, takes forever.
It was good.
Comes out, it was good.
It was pizza.
But while we're eating, like you still were looking around and there's just like I at this point I'm starting to be like, all right.
And I wasn't saying anything. I was just watching his face and like the things that he was.
Yeah, because at
observing.
first, like when we first sat down, I gave her like almost a lecture, and that her expectations were too high, and that this is for any normal person that this would be plenty good of a place to stay. And then like the longer I sat there, I was like, I don't know. And then like as we're eating, we both saw this like black thing kind of like flutter across the floor.
Like
And
cucaracha.
what did you say that it was?
It was a hairnet.
Oh, she thought it was a hairnet.
no, it was a hairnet.
It was a hairnet.
No. She thought it was a hairnet. And I'm like, no. Allie, that's a clump of hair. So then we
No.
were arguing if it was a
Like,
hairnet or
this big.
a hairnet or a clump of hair. And at that point, like we didn't know who was arguing on which one would be worse that was rolling across the ground.
There
And
were some
then-
other weird things too. I cannot think of them. right
Okay,
now.
no. And then a person comes and gets us. Oh, by the way, Bryce, we had both taken
No, don't.
gummies.
Mhm.
Can I tell you that we had both taken gummies when we got in the taxi and we were on the way to the hotel? So when we got to the hotel, these gummies were starting to really kick in.
Sure. Mhm.
I don't do that.
I believe you, AJ. go
Um,
ahead.
So things are just getting weirder and weirder by the minute. Then when the gummies are really going full force, now the woman comes back and I can't remember, but I thought that she said her room was ready. All I remember is that this woman came over and we followed her.
Into this weird corridor.
She took us to this section of the lobby.
What just happened?
I don't know. There's
I'm
this
getting a little backed
protein
up.
shake, protein
She
shake.
took us to the section of the lobby and sat us down at a desk and then went on this long
25 minutes.
pitch about this special excursion that we could go on to talk about business opportunities or something. And I was like, no way, we're at one of those places. It's one
Timeshare?
of those places in the movies where they go to a cheap resort and then they get sucked into some
Timeshare.
timeshare opportunity thing and they have to sit through these meetings. I'm like, this is happening to us right now.
Like, you don't even get to check in. They're just straight to try to make money off of you.
And at that point, I was like, okay,
I was still fine. I thought
Was that what it was? Was that what it was?
Has that ever happened to you, by the way?
It was what it was?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Has that happened to
No.
you, Bryce, at a place?
No, I don't stay at cheap resorts. Sorry.
I couldn't
No,
believe it. When that happened, I was like, we're in a movie right now. And then we got checked in and did she walk us up to our room?
No, but no, she didn't even tell us where to go. So we had to like find our way.
Mhm.
It was in some weird
Yeah.
other part of
Forget
the-
about beating around the bush. This place freaking sucked. The more I think about it.
You know, dude, I've never stayed at a resort. I've always kind of steered away from them
Why?
because I've just heard not awesome stories. I've never been to what was it called? Was it part of Sandals? I thought I saw Sandals.
Yeah, Dream Sands.
No. It's not part of sandals. Dreams, secrets. They're all like it's like IHG. That's like
Okay.
Holiday Inn Express. It's all under the same branch. It's
Yeah,
not sandals. It's something different. But apparently, I think they have a good rep for the most
Okay.
part.
I don't know how those reviews were good. Other than just, people's
Mm.
expectations are different for hotels. But we did go to, so we checked out of there.
So you guys did backpacking in Switzerland. I'm wondering, did you guys stay in any hostels there?
No. We stayed
No.
in nice places.
So
No, they weren't nice necessarily. Not all of
bro,
them were.
let me tell you something. When we were in Iceland, and we
So
stayed
jealous,
at
by the way.
it's an awesome trip. But I'm jealous of Switzerland, so we're even.
Yeah.
When we were in Iceland, like we stayed in like an Airbnb downtown Reykjavik first couple nights, and that was cool. It was fine. It was like an apartment. Then we stayed in like a really dope hotel, and then the fourth or fifth night we stayed in a hostel, like a legitimate camp on the side of a fucking mountain, European quintessential hostel where you walk into a side door and you walk through like a room of bunk beds. And then we luckily had our own room that was 2 twin beds. Bro, I slept in every piece of clothes that I had, including a winter hat. And I was like,
That's such an alley move.
I was like, I am not getting bed bugs in this goddamn place. No way, no how.
Yeah.
And that
I
was
think that's cool, and that's part of the story. Like when it
it was
comes to
it was cool. I'm sure it was fine, but like I could not get the vision of bed bugs crawling all over me like out of my fucking head. And I almost burned the place down because I brought boot warmers and we had a Euro adapter, but the Euro
Oh,
adapter
yeah.
is 220
Yep.
volts and went into my heaters that were 120 and the things melted inside my boots.
Oh, jeez.
And it was a small little place and like we woke up to the smell of like smoke and fire. It was just
But
That's
for some
funny.
reason, I feel like on trips like that, experiences and staying at hotels that are maybe a little bit less nice than what
It's
you
a
would normally
different
stay. It's part of the
experience than like going to
experience.
the beach and
Yeah,
being
you're
at an
like learning the
all-inclusive
culture
resort.
and
Right.
things like that. But when
Yeah.
you go to a place
When
whose
the expectation is that you're going to be pampered,
relax, yeah,
that's
and their only goal is to just shove hundreds of people in there with as shitty food quality as possible and
Mhm.
make as much money as they can. It was just, I mean, it was bad. So we walked into the room and you walked in and the smell of mold just hit you in the face.
Oof.
The sheets were like old and stained. The floor, I got out of my sandals. I don't know why I would have done that. The floor was like, had stuff all over it that were sticking to my feet. It was bad. The paint was chipping. The shower was like smudged and gross. It was
So
just
then
bad.
at that point we'd make the decision, okay, we're getting out of here. But the gummies were really kicking in at this point. And
Why did you have to say that?
we couldn't get our heads together to like make this decision.
Oh my God. We laughed on the bed for 30 minutes straight.
So by the time I like got my head together to be able to Google the phone number of whoever I was trying to call. Who was I trying to call? I was trying to call 2 people simultaneously.
Sorry, I snort when I laugh. You were trying to call the hotel and Cheap Caribbean.
Okay, so I was trying to call the hotel and Cheap Caribbean, one of which had already put me on hold, and I was on hold for a while. So then I'm like, all right, I'll kill 2 birds in 1 stone. I'll call the other place. So then the other place now has me on hold. Then they both answer at the same time after being on hold for a long
10
time.
minutes.
And they
Did
both
you
answer
merge the calls?
exactly at the same time, and I panic. Like I didn't know what to do, so I panicked so bad that I just ended both phone calls. And
No,
then we
you
had
threw the phone to me.
I
and
threw one of the
to
phones at her, and then I hung mine up like
you were laughing so hard you couldn't talk to your person. And you hung up, and by the time you looked at me, I had already hung up because I was laughing so hard I couldn't talk. So after 20 minutes of being on the phone and on hold, we got nowhere.
yeah, they both answered. I was like, oh no, and I just threw her phone, and then I tried to talk to my guy,
This
but
is not as funny to other people
it was
because
cracking up. I just hung the phone up.
Allie, if there's anybody listening at this point in the podcast, they have to evaluate their life decisions.
Yeah.
We talk about it every time. There's 3 people
Yeah,
left.
well, I feel like normally you guys have really interesting podcasts. Like I listen, even though I don't care about dirt bikes and stuff. Like I actually listen and I'm engaged and I'm interested.
I will say she does listen to him.
I don't know why people would listen to this. They shouldn't. It's,
I would
Who's
listen to
listening now? We guessed at the end of Jay's.
it.
We
There's
guessed
gonna be
at-
people. There's gonna be fans who just want to see Allie, I'm sure. So probably
yeah,
all
right.
of them.
Maybe somebody that's just driving to work.
Who's listening right now?
My mom.
This is 2 hours in.
Hmm. Is it?
It's
No,
2
it's not.
hours in.
No.
Wait, I
it's not.
thought Bryce had to go at 9.
No,
I
it's not 2
did.
hours in.
I did. I get enveloped in conversation. I'll just postpone everything else I got to do.
Or did you just make that up because you didn't really want to talk
Well,
for that
we-
long? That's okay.
No, I
You
do.
say
I
that
have.
all the
I
time.
do have. I have to get something done
He
by
doesn't even know what it is.
midnight tomorrow. And
Did something else happen on that trip?
We left a day early.
Oh yeah. So pretty much the whole trip went to crap, basically.
I just didn't even want to be there for some reason after that.
Yeah.
Was
so
the
we-
weather? Was there any redeeming qualities of it? Was the weather good? Was the
I
beach
couldn't
nice?
even
Was the water
stand. The wind was so crazy. Like I couldn't
Really?
stand up straight.
getting sandblasted on the beach?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 40-mile-an-hour winds. So
That'd
yeah,
be
we
rough.
paid all the money to book a whole different hotel, and then went
Which
to
was
that.
nice.
Yep, and then went to that hotel, and then just booked a flight home a day early, and just gave up on the whole trip.
Yeah, it was great. Great time.
Fun.
Just kinda
It's a
weird.
memory. It's an experience. And now
I gotta go to bed,
I
guys.
feel like
you're
I would just
stronger.
rather be home. Traveling right now
I
is
mean-
just not the same experience.
I know it isn't, and I haven't traveled, and I already know.
I mean, to
I
Florida,
already know.
like whatever, places in the United States, it's one thing, but
Yeah.
what did I just miss?
He goes, I haven't traveled, but I already know.
I hope to be breaking that streak soon.
Don't go out of the country. We have that many
No,
places you
it's
can
fine.
go.
It's fine. It's fine.
I mean,
just-
why? It just the experience isn't the same, and you're paying the same price. And flights are going back up. now.
Yeah,
Yep.
flights are freaking
Yeah.
outrageous all over again.
Yep. Well, now they got to make up for all the lost revenue in 2020, so they got a lot of catching up to do.
I went to go book yeah, I can't even get my camera guy to the last round because it was gonna be like $1,200 to fly him there. I was like,
Is that
"Damn."
right?
Gas prices go up even more.
Yeah.
Oh, I noticed
That-
that. I don't pay attention to gas prices, but I noticed that it was
So-
unbelievably expensive to fill
so
my tank.
Two things about gas prices. One, the tanker that got, or the ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal, was huge. It had like a ridiculous amount of crude oil on it, and that whole shipping debacle caused like crude oil prices to go up. I think the price of crude doubled since it had gotten stuck. So like that was part A. And part
it
B,
sink?
no, it got stuck in the Suez Canal. Did you not hear about that, Mister? I don't watch the news.
Of course not. What the
Okay,
heck is
so
this?
one of the
I don't even
largest
try anymore.
I don't even
one
know
of
what crude oil is.
it's what's extracted out of the ground to make petroleum products to power your car, right? It goes to the refinery, they refine it into gasoline, diesel, heating oil, all that stuff. The gas that powers your motorcycle that you use for a living comes from crude oil.
So crude oil is the raw product.
It's
that
like
they're
the raw
getting.
product they're getting out of the
Got
ground.
it.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
I had
So that was
a-
like one thing that affected the price of crude oil. And when the crude oil price goes up, then it costs more to refine it into gasoline, and then you see that at the pump. The other major factor recently is, and this is the industry I'm in for a day job, is the supply and demand for gasoline and petroleum products. When COVID happened, the demand for gasoline plummeted. Nobody was driving. Planes were grounded. So like every major economic factor just completely crashed, and everybody who's in charge of making fuel, their demand wasn't there to make it, so they incurred additional costs. When the supply or when the demand came back, the supply was not there to meet the demand, and that's classic economics, like right, the supply and demand. So now there's a decrease in supply, an increase in demand, which means the price will go up because there's more people wanting gasoline than there is actual gasoline to produce.
Wouldn't you have thought that they would have predicted that to have happened?
Well, I mean, there is like the whole oil speculation market. So like there
Yeah.
there is a level of prediction, but you can't go from where we were in COVID to where we are now without like a huge major fluctuation. You know what I
And do you
mean?
think airlines are just straight up jacking their prices up to try to recoup for all their losses
Oh,
on top of
absolutely,
that?
100%. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
all multifaceted.
Well, not. I don't think the airlines is much to do with the fuel price as it is to like recuperate some
You
loss
don't
from
think so?
2020. I think it might have something to do with it, but jet fuel. I mean, maybe it does. It could, it could, but that would also factor into just the whole impact of COVID in 2020, right? And so it's all
It went
related,
up
I'm
like
sure.
overnight because I've been booking flights like a few weeks ahead.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, son of a gun. I was kind of waiting on it to happen too. Because I got away with getting a lot of flights really, really cheap.
Yeah,
This year.
You're not going to find flights under $400.
But then again, it's just Salt Lake, which that's
That's generally an expensive airport to fly
I don't know
into.
why, but it is. Salt Lake and Seattle are for
Well,
me
anywhere
always
out
really
west.
expensive.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because from like from here, Connecticut, like and even Boston and stuff, flying to Salt Lake is significantly more than going to like Denver or Las Vegas even. So it's kind of weird. I don't know how. I really don't know what the factors are for that, but I have noticed that because I've flown there a handful of times and been like, why is it so much more to go a 3/4 of the distance than it is to go to California? Like, why does it
Yeah.
cost more to? But
Yeah, my friend lives in Vegas and she wanted me to go out there in May, and it's $700. It's not even nonstop. I'd have to spend like
what?
14 hours on a plane. I'm like, it's crazy.
It's a little much, yeah.
Yeah.
Gone are the days of. I think my brother-in-law went to Florida over February for like $47.
So nice.
It's nuts.
We all should have been taking advantage of it.
I was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were.
Yeah.
You were.
I freaking was.
All right, sorry, Dave, Glenn, and Tony for dragging you through.
Tony Cat? You think Tony Cat's listening? No, he doesn't know
Oh,
how to get to a podcast.
I was thinking of other Tony.
Do you guys keep track of your stats? Like, do you know, like, how many, what are they called? Subscribers or followers?
Listeners?
Listeners.
Yeah. Well, so it's harder with podcasts because it goes to so many places. It's not like you can just click on YouTube and find it. So
Oh,
like there's
really?
right. So our host site which is Podbean, has its set of metrics that does its best to like track everywhere that the RSS feed is. At least this is how I think it works. But then it's like if it's on YouTube, that doesn't count. It only counts for YouTube views. If it's on Spotify, that's a whole nother set of metrics.
Yeah.
If it's on iTunes, that's its own. There's like Chartable. There's I forget. There's a bunch of ones. So I really don't know what if I had to guess. There's like a several thousand that I know at least from Podbean. There's like several thousand per episode, but
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
yeah,
I wonder what the average listening time is.
Like if it's all the way through or not.
6 minutes.
Because I know like for my YouTube, the average viewer watches for 9 minutes.
It's good engagement.
So yeah, which is actually pretty good. But that brought up a conversation because our vlogs are 20 minutes. So we were just gonna Jace from Gypsy Tales was like, he told me to do 2 parts, part 1, part 2, keep them 10 minutes, and then release them like 4 hours from each other.
What happens if they only
Mhm.
listen for 5 minutes then?
Yeah, we'll see. We're just gonna test it. It may not work, but I'd be curious to know how like long each listener is listening to this and how many people actually get this far.
Yeah, because it seems like you guys have been pretty consistent with putting them out lately. Or
No,
not?
what? No,
Well,
no,
no, I think almost the opposite. Honestly,
Really?
we were doing all right, and then like a couple weeks ago,
I feel
or
like you're always recording.
well, don't forget we missed one
Uh,
entirely.
Well, we've had 3 within the past week, but 1 didn't get recorded.
Yeah. I'm so fucking mad about that still. Can we not talk about it anymore? It's me.
You're triggering him. Cut it out.
I'm super triggered. I'm not gonna be able to sleep again. Dude.
I love this mic stand. Bryce,
Okay.
when we decide to continue further into this transitional stage, get this mic, but more importantly, get this mic stand because this thing is great.
AJ, before
And it's
you
cheap.
invest in a mic, you need to figure out your setup here because this is awful.
I asked him to buy a fucking $10 green screen. He buys an $80 green thing that goes in the back of a chair. Never works.
The things that come in from Amazon for this whole setup.
Speaking of which, there's a big Amazon box out front when I walked in.
Yeah. Oh,
What is that?
those are lights for the ceiling that AJ will not hang, that I will be hanging.
Good for you.
Lights from the
Oh.
ceiling?
Yeah, because he buys light fixtures and he's like, I'm going to change them. And then 3 weeks will go by and they won't be changed. So I was like, I'm sick of this. I just taught myself how to do it.
Let's be clear. I never said I was going to change them.
Yeah, you did.
You probably said it. You probably were like, yeah, okay.
I
I'll do
probably
it.
said I was going to hire somebody to change them.
That could be true. But then you never did. Pay up.
She did it all by herself.
Okay. I think, I mean, just a little piece of constructive criticism. I think a lot of the DIY channels are better when the people do the work themselves, AJ. Nobody wants to see.
No, I was confused. I thought he was
that's a good-
criticizing my work.
Yeah, that's a good point. All of our vlogs are just going to be like,
Chip Gaines wouldn't have the following he does if he just was a guy who hired everybody.
For someone that works so hard, I guess it does make sense because he comes home and he doesn't want to do anything. But I'm like, don't you want to learn how to? Yeah, his friend Dom.
Mhm. Oh no, I know the basement. Yeah, I was talking
how
to
good
Dom
that's-
about.
Basement,
Dude,
everything.
his basement's coming out so good.
It's sick, dude. I messaged him. I was like, dude, you're inspiring me with this basement. It looks
Yeah.
sick.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
I'm actually jealous of
Well,
that too.
Allie, have you
Jealous
ever
of his
seen the
girlfriend.
inside of my house? I
What?
should send you some before and after pictures of my house. I wish I vlogged the transition of my house.
Did
So,
you
like,
do it
we've-
yourself?
Yes. We've gutted every single thing in this house, basically.
I'm leaving you.
But
I
you
want a
also
divorce.
you have to understand that like the amount of money I make and the time that it just
No,
simply
it is a
doesn't-
time. There is a time is money component for
I
sure.
work a lot.
Yeah.
I've got a lot on my plate.
not as much as me.
Okay, but I still make time.
I'll teach you how to hang a light. Actually, Allie can teach you. But now-
Allie's dad taught me, and I thought I comprehended it, but I not well enough to be able to do it by
No,
myself.
you used him to hang
Turn-
the light for
turn-
you and
turn the-
pretended that you were paying attention.
That's
Turn
not
the
true. I was
power
really
off,
paying attention
Connect
because
the
he had me
black
do
to the
the whole thing.
black, the white to the white in the ground, and then that's it.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah.
Alright.
Although all the cheap light fixtures I've been buying lately, like they don't have the colors on them to match with the colors in the ceiling. So
Oh well,
it's
that's
a game of
problem.
trial and error and electrocute
Oh,
yourself.
boy.
It's great.
Don't burn the house down.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry everybody who's hung on this long.
Are they all this bad till the end? No, they're not.
No.
They're pretty good.
No,
At
lately
the
we've had
end.
a really hard time saying goodbye to one another.
Bryce and I just
can't let go.
Bryce and I just go until we both fall asleep on our mics.
I
And
feel
the-
like if you guys if you just throw this one out and you give me another chance later on.
I
I'll do
I
better.
no,
could
this one it's getting off the rails a little bit now, but this one was fine. I think it was fine. But
No, it
how
wasn't.
funny would that be if there was a
I was
concept
choking
for
on my spit.
a concept for a podcast? If the two co-hosts just they talked until they fell asleep, and that's just how every time that's how the podcast would end. They would just
sounds
talk until they.
unbelievably stupid, honestly.
Who would watch that till the end?
I don't
Nobody.
think it'd be pretty funny.
AJ, nobody would. watch
Exactly
that.
the same amount of people who are listening to this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So,
We
well,
put
Allie,
them to
thanks for
sleep.
coming on finally. I've been trying to get you on for months now.
No,
AJ's
you've been
always
boycotting me.
AJ's always like, no, she doesn't want to come on. She doesn't want to come on. Just kidding. He's
Keeping your
asked
options
several
in.
times. But thanks for coming on. It was fun
Thanks for having me.
chatting.
Yeah,
We'll
feel
catch
free
up
to delete
soon.
this. We'll
We
do.
will. We will. We'll let our
We'll have to-
users.
Yeah, we'll
vote
have to
on
get
if
up
we
to
should keep it up.
Connecticut, and sometime
Please.
in the next couple years to all hang out or something.
For real. I'll come down there. I mean,
You guys
I'm not-
should, or you, or whatever. You guys can go mountain biking. I'll cook.
Sounds good to me. I'm sold.
Cool. All right.
All right, folks. Well, thank you for listening.
And sorry
Um,
for putting you through that.
Thank you. I'd like to personally thank little Ralphie and
What's your
Ben.
secret admirer's name? The kid we talked about yesterday. Oh, you don't want to say his name.
I don't want to say it because he's listening.
Well, thank you.
He's for sure listening.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks to you. You know who you are. And yeah, I'd also like to thank
Why don't
my
we do the?
daughter.
Why don't we sign off? Why don't we sign off impersonating our favorite Supercross riders. I'll start.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got to give it up to the Lord, Jesus Christ. You know, he's always looking out for us, man. And, you know, we put in some good laps tonight and, you know, we're just going to come out again. And if Kenny wants to play these games, I'll play too, man. All right. Thanks.
That sounded like a country version of Cooper Webb.
He has a little country. He has
Does
a little,
he?
Yeah, he's a little something.
I wish I could do
Carolina.
it.
Right?
I
Who are you going to be? Who are you going to be? Sign
was
off.
gonna be Marvin Muskin.
I'd love to hear the French accent.
No, but I can't.
No, you
I can only say rock to the cock.
what?
Have you ever seen you've seen it. It's my favorite clip of all time. The Moto Dubs thing where it's an interview and he's talking about Eli Tomac is winning the race and he comes around and his pants are down and
No, I haven't
his
seen
dick is out.
That's actually a pretty good accent. I didn't see it though.
Say it.
And I'm trying to think how it goes.
Oh my God, let these people go.
Oh, no. Oh, no, he goes. He
Why are you
goes.
guys hanging up?
Oh,
I'm just gonna get up and walk out.
oh,
Just say it.
I forget it.
Oh God, I'm so glad I
Oh.
blew my
Doing it here when you say you're
bedtime.
working? What time
Okay.
is it?
I need to go to bed.
Have we been doing
I was
this
supposed
for
to be-
2 hours?
Oh
Somebody-
yeah, I was supposed to be done at 9:15.
Somebody shut this podcast off.
Thanks everybody for coming on, or tuning in, listening. I'm sorry again. I'll apologize profusely for this.
All right.
Till next time.
And we'll talk to you guys and see you in 3 months. Thanks.
Adios.